Hey, Sudhir. Hi, Sudhir. We will start like few. Let's wait for few more minutes, and we will start at 12. So meanwhile, who are joining new can also share like what they are doing currently, if they are studying, in which year they are studying, which education they are pursuing currently. So you can share with us so that we can come to know. Can you share the name of the places from where you guys are joining? Like which part of India or which part of out of India you are joining? Can you share so that we can come to know from where? Mumbai, Kushal, great. Kushal, am I pronouncing right? Donald Trump from Washington DC, of course. Tripti from Mumbai. Okay, so Jaipur, currently Phuket. Oh, hi Helena. Thank you for joining. Okay. Arya from Mumbai, Priyanshu from Noida. So Mumbai people are many. You are from Noida, Delhi. Okay, great. Delhi, Mumbai, Noida, Hyderabad. Hi Sai, welcome. So Sai is joining from Hyderabad. So we have students and people from Delhi, Mumbai, Noida, Hyderabad. Good. We are as a DigiChain pioneer blockchain company. We are situated and our office at Noida. So we are from Noida. Yes, yes has joined. Welcome, yes. Welcome, Vivo. So few people are joining from their mobile phones as well. So we are not able to like know the name. And as we can see, like most of our student belongs to student fraternity. Donald Trump, let's start. Yes, yes, Donald, we are just waiting two more minutes and then we will start. And we are waiting few more people. Hi, Tanuj. So give us one or two more minutes and we will start definitely. Hi, Achal. Okay. Meanwhile, like I can start giving my introduction. Like you had shared your introduction. Like most of the you are doing studying and most of you are in second year and third year of college. Hi, Madhav. So myself, Varun Gupta, and like I am the founder of this blockchain startup named as DigiChain Pioneers, and we are currently working on this blockchain uh, education, training, consulting, and product and service development side. So I will share more details about me, but as I already told you that we are situated at Noida, and myself, Varun Gupta, I am the founder of Digital Pioneers, and I had 17 to 18 years IT industry experience before I took a decision that now I need to like start my own venture and I started my own venture and sorry, there was some issue, internet issue at my side. Hello, Utkarsh,
Yes, yes,
am
you
I
are audible right now.
am I audible right?
Yes, yes, you are.
So hi Eric, and okay, so like let's not wait and let's start. Okay, so Utkarsh, can you share the presentation mode? Can you make it to a presentation mode? Okay. So, hi everyone, and welcome everyone, and thanks for taking your time on Sunday and joining this webinar. And I can assure you that after attending this webinar, you will like come to know about the blockchain technology and its use cases, and you will be able to connect very well, like what is the blockchain technology, how it is working, and how you can proceed further in your career in blockchain technology. So I already had shared myself, Varun Gupta. I'm a founder of DigiChain Pioneers, and I already shared with you that DigiChain Pioneers has a twofold of mission and vision. Currently, we are trying to educate people and filling the education, training, and knowledge gap in blockchain technology, and as well as we are developing the product, real world product and services in blockchain technology. So we are working on both the arms of the blockchain technology. One is education arm and another one is a technology and development arm. Okay. Next. Yes. So this is my brief introduction. Myself, Varun Gupta, and I already told you that I have a 17 years IT industry experience. And in this, I did a I worked as a techno-functional consultant, then I worked as a product owner, then I work as a product manager and subject matter expert. And I did a lot of certifications around like Scrum Master, product owner, web certified web3 professional, blockchain expert certification, cryptocurrency audit expert. And if I talk about my education, then I did my MCA and I did product management from IIM Vishakhapatnam, then business management from IIM Code, and recently I had completed my fintech and blockchain education from ISB Hyderabad. So, like uh, this is my background about my experience and what I did. And Utkarsh, next. And I can share one thing with you, like why I had decided that I should start my startup or a venture in blockchain domain, because it's not like just like that I got a dream overnight that okay, I need to start my company in blockchain domain, and from the next day I started my blockchain company. I did a lot of research and I spent quite a lot of time in understanding the blockchain domain what blockchain can bring us for all of us into the future, and what is the market. If we see the market growth, currently blockchain is a growing technology, and next 5 to 7 years blockchain is going to grow from a booming rate. Like if you will do some research by your own, you will come to know that there is a huge potential and huge market for a blockchain growth in upcoming next 3 to 5 years. And everywhere you come to know that new around. And blockchain is not all about the crypto only. There are many other use cases like real world asset tokenization, supply chain, and many other aspects are there where someone can make a career to in blockchain technology. And why you should start now? Because early mover advantage is there, massive skill gap is there, and job security. And you can see many of the careers are available for the blockchain technology enthusiast. And if we see recently, we see in AI we missed the train. In AI is already there, and AI is already booming. So if we get into the AI is already there. So in future, in next 3 to 5 years, blockchain may also get boom, and every thing will shift from centralized to decentralized ecosystem on blockchain. And you should be start from now onwards. Okay, next. So why to learn and understand blockchain? What is blockchain? Like it is a digital ledger of transaction. You will come to know why learn it, because you need to be ready for the future and unlock great career opportunities. How does it work? That we will explain to you in a while, that how it works. And where it is used. It is not being used only into the cryptocurrency. It is being used into the real world asset tokenization, digital identity verification, skills and credentials verifications, and every supply chain and many other areas. So that is all about like why we had opened this blockchain startup, why we are here, and what we are doing. Now I am introducing my tech blockchain expert Utkarsh, who will take you through all technical details about the blockchain. He will take you to the understanding of smart contracts and the Solidity language, which is being used to write smart contracts, and the technical journey side of the blockchain. So Utkarsh, now it's up to you.
So, thank you, Varun, for the introduction, and welcome everyone to this webinar. We will start this webinar by taking the question of Priyanshu. He is asking that does the blockchain developers are affected by the crypto market? So we cannot say that they are not affected by that, because blockchain is the main technology on which the cryptocurrency is based on. So they are not affected directly, but the market trends of the crypto somewhat little bit affect that blockchain developers' salaries and trend, because the projects in this blockchain field are funded by this crypto market only. So yes, they are affected, but not that much which you need to worry about. So this is the question from the Priyanshu. I hope I was able to clear your question. So before we start this webinar, I would like to explain that I would like to set the context of this webinar, like how we are going to this proceed. So first we will understand that what is blockchain, how it works, like what is the flow of transaction of the blockchain. So we will start from the basics and give you the little bit glimpse of everything related with the blockchain, the important questions which can be asked as a beginner to you from in the interview. So we will cover all that, but we will not go much deeper into the blockchain in this webinar, because the theme of this webinar is solidity. So we will directly jump to that part where we will do the live coding with you, and right, and we will deploy the smart contract onto the testnet and show you how the things work there. So at any point अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट होगा वो आप in the chat या फिर अपना unmute करके भी आप पूछ सकते हो, ठीक है? So let's start, like what is the blockchain. So before understanding blockchain, you have to understand three terms. पहला decentralization, सेकंड लेजर एंड थर्ड इज नोड। सो पहले हम समझते हैं कि डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन क्या होता है। उसके लिए आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट इज सेंट्रलाइजेशन। तो सेंट्रलाइजेशन इज अ टर्म which means the power or the authority is centralized to a single entity। लाइक कुछ भी डिसीजन मेकिंग की पावर है, कुछ भी उसमें चेंज करना है या फिर कुछ डिसीजन लेने हैं, उसकी जो अथॉरिटी है या उसका जो एक्सेस है वो सिर्फ एक एंटिटी पे डिपेंड करता हो, इसको बोलते हैं सेंट्रलाइजेशन। अभी ये क्या होता है उसको एक एग्जांपल से समझेंगे बहुत ही इंटरेक्टिव वे में। बट अभी तक आप इतना समझ लो कि यार सेंट्रलाइजेशन इज अ थिंग by which a power or authority is centralized to a single entity। ये होता है सेंट्रलाइजेशन। और डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन क्या होता है? इट इज अपोजिट टू दिस। हियर द पावर और द अथॉरिटी और वी कैन से द डिसीजन मेकिंग इज नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन अ सिंगल एंटिटी बट इट इज डिसेंट्रलाइज ऑन द मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स। ये होता है डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। तो यहां तक हमने समझ लिया सेंट्रलाइजेशन और डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन क्या होता है। सेकंड जो आपको समझना पड़ेगा लेजर। लेजर क्या होता है? इट इज नथिंग, इट इज जस्ट अ रिकॉर्ड ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शंस। तो लेट सपोज अगर आप अपने कॉपी में भी ये कुछ रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन करके रखते हो, आपने किसी को लेट सपोज 10 रुपीज जो लोन दिया हुआ है, 20 रुपीज आपने उससे लिया हुआ है, उसका अगर आप एक रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन करके रखते हो, लाइक यू मेंटेन द रिकॉर्ड इन द कॉपी, दैट इज अ लेजर। एंड डिजिटल लेजर इज अ थिंग व्हिच इज दैट सेम रिकॉर्ड स्टोर्ड ऑन द कंप्यूटर। सो दिस इज डिजिटल लेजर। एंड थर्ड टॉपिक इज नोड। सो नोड इज नथिंग, इट इज जस्ट अ मल्टीपल कंप्यूटर्स रनिंग इन अ नेटवर्क। अब लेट सपोज कि हम 5 लोग एक नेटवर्क में बैठे हुए हैं, हमारे पास 5 लैपटॉप्स हैं, तो वो हर एक लैपटॉप अपना एक एक नोड होगा। ठीक है, तो हमने 3 टॉपिक्स अभी 3 टर्म समझ लिए जो ब्लॉकचेन का कह सकते हैं पिलर है। पहला डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, सेंट्रलाइजेशन और डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, नोड्स एंड डिजिटल लेजर। अब व्हाट इज ब्लॉकचेन? सो ब्लॉकचेन इज नथिंग, इट इज जस्ट अ डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड लेजर स्टोर्ड ऑन ऑल द नोड्स विद इन अ नेटवर्क। तो ब्लॉकचेन यही है कि उन एक ट्रांजैक्शंस का पूरा डिजिटल लेजर का एक रिकॉर्ड है जो मल्टीपल कंप्यूटर्स पे स्टोर है। अच्छा, अब इसका क्या मतलब है, इसको एग्जांपल से समझते हैं। लेट सपोज देयर इज अ ग्रुप ऑफ 5 फ्रेंड्स। दे मेंटेन अ रिकॉर्ड इन द कॉपी, लाइक किसने किसको कितने पैसे दिए हैं, किसको किससे कितने पैसे ले रहे हैं, जो भी उनके ट्रांजेक्शन का रिकॉर्ड है उसको वो एक कॉपी में मेंटेन करके रखते हैं। और अब लेट सपोज की वो कॉपी जो है, 5 दोस्तों का जो ग्रुप है, वो कॉपी सिर्फ एक लोग के पास है। दैट कॉपी जो भी अथॉरिटी है उसमें कुछ चेंज कर लेगा या उसमें कुछ भी मॉडिफिकेशन कर लेगा, उसकी जो अथॉरिटी है वो लेट सपोज किसी एक दोस्त के पास है। तो यहीं से क्लियर हो सकता है आपको कि उसमें क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकती है। पहली प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है कि क्या पता वो जो भी फ्रेंड है या जो भी है उसके मन में ऐसी कुछ भी एक्टिविटीज आए कि वो उसमें कुछ भी चेंजेस करना चाहता है, वो इजीली कर सकता है क्योंकि बाकी जो 4 दोस्त हैं उनके पास उसका एक्सेस तो है बट उसमें कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन करेगा उनको एक्सेस नहीं, और वो देख भी सकते हैं अगर किसी ने कुछ चेंज किया हुआ है। तो इस एग्जाम्पल से आपको अभी क्लियर हो गया कि सेंट्रलाइजेशन में प्रॉब्लम क्या है, कि अगर किसी की अथॉरिटी को कॉपी जो है वो सिर्फ अगर एक दोस्त के पास रहेगी तो उसमें क्या क्या एक्टिविटीज कर सकता है। अब इस एग्जाम्पल को थोड़ा सा फ्लिप करते हैं। वो 5 दोस्त हैं, वो अपने ट्रांजैक्शन के रिकॉर्ड को एक कॉपी में मेंटेन करके रखते हैं। अब उस कॉपी की कॉपी हर 5 दोस्तों के पास है। तो अब आप समझ सकते हैं कि अगर वो कॉपी हर 5 लोगों के पास है, तो अगर अब उसमें कोई एक दोस्त अगर कुछ भी चेंज करने की कोशिश करेगा, तो जो बाकी 4 दोस्त हैं उनकी भी कॉपी में वो चेंजेस रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएंगे और वो इसमें चेंजेस नहीं कर सकता है। तो यही ब्लॉकचेन का एक मेन फंडामेंटल है जो इसको इम्यूटेबल बनाता है। इम्यूटेबल इन सेंस कि कोई भी इसमें चेंजेस, एक बार जो ट्रांजैक्शन ब्लॉकचेन पे रिकॉर्ड हो गई उसको कोई भी चेंज नहीं कर सकता। ये जो सिंपल सा हमने 5 दोस्तों का एग्जांपल अभी समझा है, इससे ही आप समझ सकते हो कि व्हाट इज द कोर ऑफ द ब्लॉकचेन। यही ब्लॉकचेन है। अब ब्लॉकचेन इज अ डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड लेजर स्टोर्ड अक्रॉस द मल्टीपल कंप्यूटर्स और नोड्स। सो यही ब्लॉकचेन है। अब इस 5 दोस्तों के एग्जांपल से आपको बिल्कुल क्लियर होगा कि इसमें 2 चीजें आपको क्लियर हो गई। व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम इन द सेंट्रलाइजेशन, how decentralization solves this problem, and how the blockchain is immutable। अगर आप ब्लॉकचेन के ट्रांजैक्शन में कुछ भी चेंज करना चाहोगे तो वो बाकी जो 4 दोस्त हैं उनके भी कॉपी में वो सेम चेंजेस होंगे, और यहाँ पे दिखेगा कि किसी एक ने इसमें कुछ भी ऐसी एक्टिविटी करने को की हुई है और उसको रिजेक्ट कर देगा इस ट्रांजेक्शन को। सो इसी अब यहाँ पे हमने सिर्फ 5 दोस्तों का एग्जाम्पल समझा। बट जो ब्लॉकचेन होता है उसमें थाउजेंड्स एंड मल्टीपल थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कंप्यूटर्स होते हैं जिसपे वो ट्रांजैक्शन जाता है। वो उसको नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में समझेंगे जब हम ट्रांजैक्शन का फ्लो देखेंगे कि हाउ द ट्रांजैक्शन हैपेंस इन द ब्लॉकचेन। then you will understand from the very basic key how this transaction is done in the blockchain। क्या आपको सिर्फ 5 फ्रेंड्स थे तो उन लोग वो लोग तो एग्री कर सकते थे कि हाँ ये ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ है, बट जहाँ पे 1000 इतने सारे कंप्यूटर्स हैं जो एक दूसरे को जानते भी नहीं है, वो कैसे एक ट्रांजेक्शन को वैलिड या अनवैलिड मानेंगे। वो ये पूरा एक, उसमें बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन अभी आपके मन में हो सकते हैं, उसको हम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड और उसके नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में पूरा क्लियर कर देंगे। बट यहाँ तक आपने ब्लॉकचेन क्या होता है वो समझ लिया, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, डिजिटल लेजर एंड ट्रांजेक्शन, ये सब सारी चीजें क्या होती है वो समझ लिया। These are the some of the properties of the blockchain, that is transparent, immutable, decentralized, and trustless। सो यहाँ पे ये चार इसकी प्रॉपर्टीज है। ये कभी कभी इंटरव्यूज में पूछ लेते हैं कि व्हाट आर द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द ब्लॉकचेन, तो आपको अब समझ में आ गया कि हाउ इट इज ट्रांसपेरेंट बिकॉज एवरी ट्रांजेक्शन इज विजिबल ऑन द कंप्यूटर, हाउ इट इज इम्यूटेबल वो हमने पांच दोस्तों के एग्जांपल से समझ लिया, एंड इट इज डिसेंट्रलाइज, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का मतलब हमने समझ लिया, एंड दिस इज ट्रस्टलेस। ठीक है, तो ये है पूरा ब्लॉकचेन का एक एग्जांपल, पूरा डेफिनेशन, दिस इज द ब्लॉकचेन। अब इसको जो हमने सारी बातें बोली, अब इसको एक इस अगर इस फ्लो को आपने समझ लिया, देन आपकी जो ब्लॉकचेन की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है वो आप किसी को भी एक्सप्लेन कर पाओगे। सो इस स्लाइड पे मतलब बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करना कि ब्लॉकचेन में जो ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, अभी तो मैं यहाँ पे एक एग्जांपल ले रहा है, बट ये कैसे कैसे ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, ये चारों स्टेप अगर आपने समझ लिए तो आपको ब्लॉकचेन
Just
की जो अभी
can
जो
you use English and Hindi as well? We have few of the audience English only.
okay, so we will if you will able to understand this four steps from the basic, then it will be very much clear to you what abhi to now you have understood what is the blockchain. But after understanding this slide, you will understand the working of the blockchain, like what is the main core of the blockchain, and you will be ready from the interview point of well as well. So we will understand this by this example. Let's suppose there is a girl who pays, let's suppose $100 to this person. Now, this is the flow of the transaction. Now, this is the first step of the transaction. This girl pays $10. Let's suppose this girl pays $10 to this boy. Now, what will happen in the blockchain? This this transaction will be stored in a block. Now, what is the block? We will get to know this in the later slide. Blockchain is the blockchain is the connection of the where each block are connected to each other through a chain. So this is just the one entity of the blockchain, the block. Whenever a transaction happens in the blockchain, this first get stored in a block. Now, let's again see this example. This girl sends $10 to this boy, and this transaction get stored in this block. Now, this is not stored in the blockchain yet. First, it get stored in the block, and after it get stored on the block, this transaction is broadcasted to all the computers present in that node. So, understood clear? She pays him $10. That transaction gets stored in the block. That block get broadcasted to all the computers out there in the blockchain network, and all that computer agree or disagree to this transaction. Let's suppose she don't have $10 and she is paying her, and transaction gets reported in the block, but that transaction will be discarded here after the verification by the miners. What are the miners and how they get to know that we have to accept or reject this transaction? We will get to, there is a very important topic in the blockchain which is known as the consensus mechanism. That is one of the most important question in the interviews. Like if you are the beginner or even the intermediate, what is consensus mechanism? This is the most important topic. We will not cover that in this webinar, but in the previous webinar or a previous section, we have covered that in very much detail. You can refer to that on YouTube channel. So let's suppose here, the main question is that how these computers present in the node agree or disagree to this transaction. This is the main question. So this is achieved. Now you just get to know that this is achieved through a consensus mechanism. Okay, now for now you can just understand that consensus mechanism is a technique by which these people, the computers in the node, get agree or disagree to any transaction. This is the consensus mechanism. Now, one more question can come to your mind that why these miners validate or why these miners, all the computers sitting in the blockchain network, agree or disagree? Why they do this much of work? So every miners get paid some amount of the blockchain, some amount of the reward as a block as a reward, or we can say as an incentive by verifying this transaction. So they sit in on their computers, and as you have seen the mining setup on the blockchain, if you will search on the Google as well, like the Bitcoin mining setup, you will see the very happy computers with lots of CPU. They are doing mining. So what they are actually doing in that, they are solving the computational problem and verifying this transaction. So now it is clear. These three steps are clear. She sent transaction. Let me repeat again. I am repeating this again and again because this is the very important part. And if you will understand this part, the whole essence of the blockchain will be clear to you. So she sent. Let's suppose she sent her $10. That transaction get recorded onto the block. That block is broadcasted to all the nodes in a computer. And let's suppose they have agreed to this transaction. This yes, that this transaction in this block is valid. She actually sends her the $10 rupees and the $10 of coin or something, so that they agree to this. And then when the nodes in the computer get agree to this point and consensus mechanism is achieved, that block is added to the blockchain. Now the whole picture of this blockchain was this. This is the flow of the transaction in the blockchain by which it will be clear to you that how the transactions happens in the blockchain. If any doubt is there at this point, You can ask, because this is the most important part of this webinar. If you will understand this part, the whole picture of the blockchain will be clear to you. So if you have any doubt at this point, you can ask, like at any point, like how this transaction happened, how this consensus is proof of like how this transaction is achieved. Everything. If you have any doubt at this point, you can ask.
Yes, so like if you get the understand the crux of the blockchain, like Utkarsh has explained, how transaction gets flowed in a blockchain technology. If someone is doing some transaction, then that transaction is getting added to the block, and like that transaction is being communicated to all the nodes, and then nodes need to reach a consensus that this transaction is a valid or invalid transaction. If all more than 51% of the nodes or majority of the nodes identify that that transaction is a valid transaction, that transaction gets added to the block. And finally, when the block is full with the capacity of the transactions, that block gets added into the chain. So blocks are getting added by the chain, and that's why this is called a blockchain. And how these blocks gets associated, one block is gets associated with the previous block, one block is gets associated with the next block. There are many, like hashing is a technique I think Utkarsh will discuss. So how those get blocks gets connected with each other into the blockchain. The thing is that no one can, like immutable, once the record is there, no one can remove the record, no one can delete the record. Trust factor is there, immutability is there. When you are on a public blockchain, then every transaction is available to view publicly, so transparency is there. So trust, immutability, transparency, security, everything is there in blockchain technology, which is not available in centralized technologies. And AI is there, but AI is like, now we are seeing that too many images, too many data can be forged with the help of the AI. We can create a lot of fake data with the help of the AI. So at the one end, AI is very useful. On the other end, with the usage of AI, there is a trust factor is like getting depreciated all the time. But once the data and information is available on the blockchain, it means that data is backed by the trust, transparency, immutability, security, and everything.
Correct. So, which is one of the main doubt many people have at this point, which I also encountered when I was learning the blockchain, is some people confuse that this block stores only one transaction. So let me make it clear to you, like it is not like that, that this only this transaction which this girl is sending to this person is the only transaction which this block holds. It is not like that. This block can hold as many transactions based upon its block size. So here we will see one example of a blockchain explorer of a Bitcoin. So what is a blockchain explorer? As we have already told you that every transaction in the blockchain is publicly available. So these block explorers are the place where you can see that transaction which happens on the blockchain every single minute or hour, we can say. So this is the clear, like which the image which you have seen here. This is the simple block. This is just a one block. This transaction get broadcasted to all the channel. This block is added to the blockchain. These are the simple blocks. This block, this block. You can see these are the simple blocks which you can see in the image. But this is not just like a simple image that holds only one transaction. No, these blocks in the blockchain can hold multiple transactions based upon the block size in them. So with this image, with this website mempool.io, you can see this is the blockchain explorer of the Bitcoin. Here you can see the real structure of the block, like how this is the complete block. As you can see, there are some small dots, some bigger dots. These dots are the transaction which this block is holding. As you can see, there are lots of transactions. Some are bigger in size. They have a bigger size. Some are smaller in the size. So these small, big transaction make a single block. This is the collection of all the transactions which is this block is consist of. So as you see, when this block reaches its block capacity, then this block gets broadcasted to this blockchain network, and all the nodes in that blockchain get agree to it, and this is added to the blockchain here. So I hope everything is clear till here. And the most important doubt which many people encounter here, that this block just store one transaction. This is not like this. Okay, so this is the complete structure of the blockchain. You can see every small big transaction. Like this is the, as you can see, this is a very big transaction because it must be computationally very big. So you can see its size is bigger as compared to the other transaction in the blockchain. So this is the overall real picture of the blockchain, which is represented here very simply, that this is the block, this is transaction, and this transaction is stored in the blockchain. In this picture, you can see how these small blocks holds all the transaction, and that transaction gets stored to the blockchain. Now you think of yourself, now if what happens if someone tries to there can be a question in your mind, what happened after when the block is added to this chain, someone tries to modify this transaction. Let's take the, not change the example, take the same example here only. This girl sent let's suppose $10 to this boy. That transaction is stored on the block. Now that block get broadcasted on the nodes. They agreed to it. This is added to the blockchain. Now let's suppose after adding to the blockchain, this person wants to change this transaction. Then what will happen? The whole blockchain will become invalid. And how that whole blockchain will become invalid, we will understand this when we will understand hashing. So keep this question in your mind, and if anyone knows this answer, that what happens if someone tries to change after the when someone tries to changes the transaction after the block is added to the blockchain. If anyone knows that, you can answer in the chat, but we will explain this when we will understand hashing. So this is the overall picture of the blockchain. You have understood about the structure of block, how the transaction stored on the block, that block get broadcasted to all the nodes, and that node gets added to the blockchain. So this is some of the use cases for the blockchain. For the individual level, you can use the blockchain as a digital secure identity as well, because on the blockchain your public address is your unique identity, and that is unique. So there are multiple softwares that build around that, like credential verification system. You can use it like that. And for businesses also, it is very heavily used because there is a thing called smart contract. We will go to that later because that's a topic of Ethereum. We will get to know that about that. What are smart contracts, and we will also deploy one in this webinar. So the question which I have just asked, that what happens if someone tries to change the transaction once the block is added to the blockchain. This cannot happen when the block is added to the blockchain. Then now we will understand how it cannot happen. So there is a term known as hashing. So what is hashing? Hashing is just a process of converting any data into a fixed length of cryptographic value. Let's suppose, and the most important characteristic of hashing is that if you change even a single small entity in that data, the hash changes completely. As you can see in the example very closely as well. I will zoom into that. Like you can see, here is an example where it is one character. It is written as hello world, and you can see it has A50A591. This is the hash of this string, or we can say this data. Now we have just changed one thing. We have this W of this hello world is changed to small, and you can see how this data changed significantly. So this is known as hashing, to convert any data into a fixed length of cryptographic value. This is known as hashing. And the immutability which we are discussing, that how it is ensured in the blockchain, it is ensured with the help of this hashing only. Like any data which is stored here. Now, how it is happening, we will get to know that in more detail. But before that, you need to understand what is hashing. And I hope with this example, you have seen how just changing a W to small changes this by along. Now, how it is calculated, this is a different topic. We will get to know about that as well in the later sections. So this is the overall hashing. Now again, let's come back to our question. Now you are aware of what is hashing, so you will understand this clearly. Now, how these blockchain are connected to each other. These blockchain are connected to each other through that unique hash only. As I've already you have seen in the last example, that just changing a capital W to small w has made a significant change into the hash. So same way, if someone tries to change the data here in this blockchain, let's suppose that hello world was the data. If someone changes the data in this blockchain, that hash also changes. And as the blocks are connected to each other through that hash, this hash also changes and this blockchain become invalid and the connection breaks. So this is how the immutability is ensured in the blockchain. If the block is added to the blockchain, it is impossible to change that data. As you have already seen, if anyone tries to change the data, hash changes. Now, if let's suppose anyone asks you in the interview, like how the immutability is stored, how the immutability is ensured in the blockchain. So you can answer in this way, that if the blocks in the blockchain are connected to each other through a unique hash, and if someone changes the data, that hash also changes, and the connection between the blockchain breaks, and the whole block become invalid. So this is how the immutability is stored in the blockchain through the concept of hashing. So now you have understood how it is transparent, how it is decentralized. Now one more topic is clear: how the immutability is ensured into the blockchain, and we have seen some of the use cases and what is the hashing. Now, the main objective of this webinar is to give you also a little bit deep understanding of what are the cryptocurrencies. Like many people in this space who are also building in this space, the beginners are confused. Like what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain, what are the cryptocurrencies? Like many people correlate it with like this, that blockchain and Bitcoin are same. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, everything is like same. They mix up the things. So in this slide, after understanding this slide, you will be able to understand as well as explain to others also that what is the difference between Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency. They are not the same thing. So, Joe, all the story which we have discussed in the previous slide was about the blockchain. This whole technology, this whole decentralization, multiple nodes, computer transaction, this is the complete blockchain. And the Bitcoin is the currency based on this blockchain technology. As you have heard about the Satoshi Nakamoto, he has published a white paper where he introduced Bitcoin. So we can say that Bitcoin is the first application or the first product of this blockchain technology. So blockchain, let's suppose internet is a technology, okay, and the Gmail, Facebook, Instagrams are the applications built on that technology. In the similar way, you can relate here as well that blockchain is the technology, this whole decentralization thing, nodes, computer transaction, blocks, this is complete technology is the blockchain, and Bitcoin is the application based on this blockchain technology. It is a digital currency, we can say, based on the blockchain technology. And cryptocurrency is a broader term. Even Bitcoin also come under this cryptocurrency, but it is a broader term like all the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and there are multiple other meme coins as well. They are all the cryptocurrencies based on this blockchain technology. So this is the overall difference of what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain and cryptocurrency, and you can easily understand it with the help of this internet. Like internet is the technology, Gmail and Facebook and Instagram, all the apps built over it are the, we can say, the application of it. So similar way, blockchain is the technology and Bitcoin is the application of this technology. So now it is clear about what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain. Now, if you are
Yes,
already aware of,
yeah, here we have a question from Sai that if hash of the manipulated transaction change, will it change the hash of all other transaction in a block? Then I think that it will change the hash of the manipulated transaction only, but the chain will get broken because
actually,
the upcoming future the further blocks are gets connected with the help of the hash value which was unmanipulated, and once the manipulation will happen in the hashing of the data of the one block, the whole chain gets unconnected,
actually,
disconnected, and remining will be required.
Actually, what happened, Sai, that this blocks not only store the transaction, they store the block of the previous, they store the hash of the previous block as well. So if you will see this image, this store the transaction, and they also store the previous hash. So let's suppose if we manipulate the data of this block, okay. Let's suppose we manipulate the data of this block. So what happened when we manipulate the data of this block? So this block is connected to this block through its previous hash also. So if we change the data here, its hash also changes. And as this block was connected to this block through the previous hash also, so this previous hash also changes and the connection here also breaks. So just changing the hash of this blockchain not only changes the data, no, the transaction here is not changes, but the connection here breaks. Like all the chains after that, as the Varun also told that you have to again mine this transaction. That is the part. Like the as you change the hash of this blockchain, as you change the data of this blockchain, hash changes, and as this previous block, as this next block is connected to this previous block through previous hash also, this previous hash also changes, and this blockchain disconnect with this blockchain. And similarly, let's suppose there is one more block here. That block also as this block changes, this also becomes invalid. This previous hash also changes. All the blockchain become invalid once you change the transaction of a single block. So this is the core of the blockchain essence. Like if you change a transaction here, this hash changes as this blockchain is connected through this blockchain through a previous hash. This block also become invalid, and similar like all the chains in the blockchain become invalid. So this is how the immutability is true. So this was your question. Like the data here not changes, but the whole blockchain become invalid. Not only this block become invalid. And if someone asks you why all blocks become invalid, because this is connected to this block to a previous has also. So that's how I hope it is clear to you. Now we can jump to the next part. So we are understanding about what is Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. If you are into this space, you have heard about this term Web 3 a lot. Like what is this Web 3? What is Web 3? What is it? So before understanding Web 3, we have to understand what is Web 1, what is Web 2, and then we can jump to Web 3. So Web 1 is the most traditional form of internet when the internet was just built. These were the application, or we can say the website, which were the Web 1 website. So what happens in this Web 1 website? They were the static websites. What do I mean by static? The content on the website was not dynamic. Like the once the content you have put on the website, that remains as it is until unless you someone again changes that data. So let's suppose you take the example of in the previous time the Wikipedia and other directories. Once the developer put some content onto that form, it cannot be changed. Like he can change it by again coding and again developing. That's a different thing. But the data, or we can say the content on that websites remain static. Now, this was the most traditional or most earliest form of the internet. Now, then there after when that some advancement come into the field of technology, the Web 2 comes into the picture. Then what happens in the Web 2? The data, or we can say the content on this website was dynamic. So what do I mean by dynamic? We will take the example of Facebook here. Let's suppose you have access to www.facebook.com and you see some of the posts of the people. Like someone comments on your post, that comment appears dynamically. Someone sends you a message, that message comes on your website. Someone likes your picture, the notification comes. So that's how the data or the content on that website is dynamically changing, or we can say it is updating. So this was the Web 2. So what was the main difference between Web 2, Web 1 and Web 2 was that the content on Web 2 was static. It cannot be changed over the time. But in the Web 2, the data was dynamic and get updated as well, as you have seen the example of Facebook here. Now, everything was going well, Web 2 and Web 1, Web 2, everything was fine. Then there comes Web 3 in the picture. What happens in the Web 3? All the components of Web 2 was there. The data here also was dynamic. But the main thing which happens here is the ownership. Like, let's suppose you are accessing the Facebook. All your data is stored on some central servers of Facebook. Or if you are accessing, let's suppose Gmail, all your data is stored on some central server. So what do I mean by central server? You as a client send request to that server and get your data there. So this was the Web 2. So what Web 3 changes here, you are the owner of your data as well. Like you are not connected to some servers or you are accessing data. Like whatever you are accessing there is your own. You can take the example of rented or owner house. Like Web 2 was a rented apartment, like the internet you are accessing is not your own. You are sending requests to Facebook, you are accessing that of Facebook server or Gmail servers or any other internet provider server. You are accessing your data there, or you are uploading your data there. So but on the Web 3, it is your own house. You are owning it, you can change it, it is completely yours. So this is the main problem, as we have already discussed, decentralization. In Web 2, you can see the latest example that Claude Fable has been banned by the US government. Or let's suppose Twitter want to suspend your ID. It can be easily suspended by Twitter because you are in a rented house. Your data and everything, your platform is a rented house which is stored on their servers. But Web3 is your own house where you are the owner of your data, you are the owner of your server, and all the other parts of dynamic thing is also present in this Web3 part. So I hope it is clear to you that what was Web 1, what is Web 2, and what is Web 3. If you have any doubt till here, you can ask what is if you have any doubt from the previous topic as well, like which we have studied Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, hashing. If you have any doubt, you can ask. As Ronit is saying that Web 1 is only read, Web 2 is read and write, and Web 3 is read, write, and wallet integration. Yes, so you can say that it was read, write, and ownership also. So this was the overall picture of Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. If anyone have any doubt till here, you can ask, and then we will jump to the coding part, and we will write some of the contracts. And before that, we will understand what are testnet, what are mainnets, what are actually smart contracts. Like we have discussed about the Bitcoin, but what is Ethereum? How it revolutionized this field of blockchain? Everything. But if you have any doubt till here, You can send in the chat. If Web3
But
is slower than Web2, why
before
innovation?
Utkarsh, before
Yes, sir.
discussing the solidity, we
Huh.
need to make them understand like what
Hmm.
is the smart contract,
Yes,
what
yes,
is
we will
the
go.
functionality of a smart contract, why smart contract is needed, and what smart contracts can do, which general contracts and Web2
Hmm.
contracts cannot do.
As Arif Datta is asking, I always have that doubt. If Web3 is slower than Web2, why we always opt for Web3 in terms of scalability? So, Arif, we don't always opt for Web3 in terms of scalability. Like this is the problem into the field of Web3, as it is every transaction, as we have seen how the transaction get stored in the block, then after some time it gets stored to the blockchain. So this is the one of the problem in the blockchain. You have heard about the term known as blockchain trilemma. So scalability, decentralization, and security. So this is a triangle. Let me show you the image of that let me show you the image of that trilemma. You will understand how what is this problem of this, as you are saying, this blockchain. Some of the blockchain tries to solve that problem, but somewhat they have to compromise with one of the factor there. Like this is the blockchain trilemma. Like if you imagine the meeting. So let's suppose this is the blockchain trilemma. What happens here? Like if you want to make it as much decentralized, then you have to compromise with scalability or you have to compromise with security. Now, if you enhance the security of a blockchain, then somewhere you have to and compromise with the decentralization, and somewhere if you have to compromise with scalability. And let's suppose you opt for scalability, then at any point you have to compromise with security and decentralization. So this is a blockchain trilemma where you try to, we can say, achieve all these three factors in a blockchain. So there are different blockchains in the, like there is Solana blockchain, which is very fast. So, but there is a problem of other things. So in different way, you can create your blockchain where you try to maximize as much as it is based on your need. Let's suppose if you are building a game, then speed there is a very important factor. Then you can little bit compromise with but there is not the option that you can compromise it. But they, somewhat you have to compromise with any of this example. So it is based on your use case. If you are, let's suppose if you are building a very secure software where security is very important for you, then you can ignore this decentralization part or you can take the authority to you as well. But then you have to compromise with this as well. So this is the main problem of this blockchain dilemma, which is the main problem which we need to solve, or based upon our need we see like what we need: scalability, decentralization, or security. So
In
this is the over.
blockchain, scalability, what is scalability in blockchain? Compute power or hardware?
Uh-huh.
Scalability basically in blockchain comes in the measurement of number of transactions per second or throughput per second, how many transactions can be handled in per second. So basically, if you are focusing more on security, if you are focusing more on decentralization, then of course it might impact the number of transactions per second. So scalability might get compromised when you are focusing more on decentralization and security. I don't think
Right.
so. Like compute power or hardware doesn't define the
It's yes, yes. It is
scalability
related.
here in blockchain.
Hmm. Yes, it just you can see like how many transactions that blockchain can handle per second, as Varun has mentioned, throughput. So as much transaction that blockchain can, or we can say the volume of transaction a blockchain can handle is related to scalability. So compute power is indirectly, we can say, connected to it, because if your compute power will be weak, how will you be able to handle the volume of transaction onto the blockchain? So it is related with the compute power or the hardware capability of that blockchain, but directly scale by what I mean by scalability is the number of transaction, or we can say the volume of the transaction a blockchain can handle is the scalability. So this is the main objective of the scalability in the blockchain. Like the volume of the transaction that blockchain can hold is known as scalability. So I hope, Sai, this is clear to you. So, and this blockchain trilemma, this was not the part of the blockchain this webinar, but you need to understand about this. This question is also sometimes asked in the blockchain, how you ensure this thing. Uh, so this is one of the very important. It's also very important. Like the most important is consensus in the part, as I'm talking about from the interview point of view, that this is the most important consensus mechanism. Then this Web1, Web2, Web3 is also frequently asked if you are a beginner, and this blockchain Web1, Web3 is also frequently asked. And if you are also like, giving interview for the beginners level, this blockchain difference between blockchain cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is sometimes also asked. That if you are giving for the intern or like 1 to 2 year of experience, they ask this question. Bitcoin is first. So this is all about this blockchain trilemma. Now, if you have any doubts, you can ask, and then we can jump to the most exciting part of this webinar, where we will understand like, what is blockchain, what is the smart contracts, and other things. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Just so long as the path is the first one. So let's start. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the meanwhile also. I will let's proceed with what is Solidity and what are smart contracts, what is Ethereum. So till here we have understood what we have understood as everything about was about the Bitcoin and proof of work. Like this, proof of work is the consensus name of the consensus mechanism which is used in the blockchain. What is proof of work? We will not go deep into this session, but we have covered that in our previous webinar. You can go there and see what is consensus mechanism. For now, you can understand that this is just a mechanism through which nodes in a computer get agreed to a uh, can agree to a single point, or we can say agree to the transaction. So let's jump to Solidity and smart contract. So before understanding smart contracts, yeah, you have to understand what is Ethereum. So Ethereum was one of the most significant development into this field of blockchain. When Bitcoin was in the picture, it was just limited to that digital currency where people used to send money to each other in form of digital currency, which was Bitcoin. But the whole internet was not decentralized there. You cannot build applications on the blockchain. You cannot build applications on in the blockchain. You cannot create application in this field of blockchain, this Web3. But when Ethereum came into the picture, it has changed the thing completely by taking the whole internet to this decentralization. It decentralized the whole internet, and you were able to create apps which were known as decentralized application, or DApps in short. You have heard of them. These are the applications built on the blockchain. So Ethereum made us possible that you can write smart contracts. Smart contracts are the self-executable codes which can you can use to send money. They can do any function, like they can store value, they can send money. You can create protocols over there. As in the starting of the webinar, Achal was asking like how you can create protocols on this blockchain. So this is the question, Achal. Like you can use smart contracts to create protocols on this network or your blockchain application. We write smart contracts. We will write one small contract here. Also, we will deploy that on testnet as well. But before that, and Solidity is one of the most famous language for and beginner friendly language as well. People start with this language Solidity to understand this smart contract thing. There are other languages as well like Rust, Go. You can write in them as well. But Solidity is the most beginner friendly, as it is. We can say and it is very much similar to JavaScript. So I believe if they are all the attendants in this webinar, some people have the knowledge about the programming. So it will be very easy for them to understand the Solidity. But let's suppose if someone is not exposed to the coding that much, but I will try to explain it as simple as possible. So this is the overall picture of the blockchain. So Solidity is just a programming language used to write a smart contract on Ethereum. And where we will write that, we will see this later. So with Solidity, we can create tokens. Tokens are nothing; they are the digital assets. We can say they are the representation of some asset on the blockchain. NFTs you have heard about, like they are the unique tokens, like with the unique ownership. And if you are a little bit aware about this blockchain space, you have heard of the tokens, the NFTs, which are sold for million and million of dollars. So these were some NFTs. Okay, you can create a voting system. These are some of the application part which you can build on the Solidity. So you can understand like in HTML you write websites, you can create website. Java you create applications. Similar way, Solidity is a language by which you create blockchain application. So what are a smart contract? A smart contract is a program stored on the blockchain. So what are some of the features of the blockchain? As I told, it is similar to JavaScript, but it is very much different also. Like this, what are some of the powers of the smart contract? It can run automatically. It is hard to change. You cannot once it is deployed, you cannot change it for now. You understand, but there are some method you can change it. That is a very advanced topic. We will cover that in our some other courses as well. But this is some of the characteristics of smart contracts. It runs automatically. It is hard to change once deployed, and it is transparent. Anyone can view your contract, and it is rule based. Like once the rule you have written on the your contract, that rule remains immutable. You cannot change that. So this is advantage and this is disadvantage in itself as well. Let's suppose there is any bug in your code. That bug also get deployed, and once you identify that you cannot change that bug also if your contract is not updatable. So this is make this smart contract feel very important because the real funds are on stake. So once you write the code, it is very important to very test it very rigorously. Trust test it at every part. Like don't break at any part. And most importantly, it is performing as you have written it to be performed. What I mean by that, we will see when we will write this code, and so like where we will write this code.
So
There is a IDE.
here I would like to quote one or two examples around the smart contract use cases. Like suppose, uh, suppose a smart contract is like that. The condition is already written into the smart contract, and if there is a agreement written into the smart contract that if there will be a rainfall more than 200 millimeter, then the insured amount already automatically will be transferred to the farmer's account. So that is already written into the code that if there will be a more than 200 millimeter rain over a period of a month or day or whatever the decided timeline, then there is no need to tell someone that there is a rain, the rain quantity is more than 200 millimeter and how much amount need to be transferred. So everything is written into the form of a smart contract, and once the blockchain will come to know with the help of the oracle, there is a layer, oracle layer, where it will get the information that how much amount of rain had been happened for a particular month, and once it will come to know, and automatically the insured amount will be transferred to the farmer's account. So that means there will be a no trust breach, no third party, no fraud. Everything will be taken care automatically by the code in the form of the smart contract. So, and one more example, like flight got delayed and flight cancelled and you have an insurance, then you will automatically get the insurance because the smart contract, in the smart contract, it had been mentioned that in the event, which is the event is the delay of the flight, in the delay event of the flight, the person will get this much of amount automatically. So these kind of conditions can be written in the form of the smart contract, and once the condition event will be triggered, automatically the beneficiaries will get the benefit. So question is, how does it know what amount of rain has happened in your example? It got with the help of the IoT devices. Internet of Things, like IoT devices needs to be placed, and IoT devices will collect the rain amount of the data, and then with the help of the oracle layer, that IoT devices will share the rain information data to the blockchain, and then that contract will get to know the amount of the rainfall, and then the event will be triggered as per the written code into the smart contract.
So let's little bit see the theory, then we will directly jump to the coding part where we will understand what
So
is
one
this
more
Solidity.
question: easily tamper with the data of IoT devices. So Om, there is a oracle layer in between, which is a kind of a off-chain blockchain, in on-chain and off-chain blockchain, which restores the data information, gets the data of the information from various sources, and only the trusted information will get passed to the blockchain. So it might be possible to tamper the data with the one source of the information, but it is not possible to tamper the information from all the data sources, and there will be a off-chain analysis as well before sharing it data on the on-chain blockchain platform.
Okay, so we will little bit see about the theory, then we will directly jump to the coding part and see we will write some of the smart contracts as well simple, and we will deploy that on the testnet and understand it. Like so later you can go to Remix and write your smart contracts. Start with the small smart contracts, and later build your own protocol. So you have understood like what is the Ethereum, how it revolutionized the field of blockchain. Let me once again repeat it. When the Bitcoin was in the picture, you cannot build the applications on the blockchain. It was just limited to the digital currency, which was Bitcoin. But once the Ethereum came into the picture, you can create your own applications over it. How you can create over it? You can use you can write smart contracts and create your application over it. You can write the code there and deploy it, and later people can interact. So this is the smart contracts. This is just a code written on the blockchain, and you can write it in VS Code as well and use the development frameworks like RDAT or Foundry. But that is a little advanced topic. We will jump into that later. For now, we will use Remix IDE. So it is just a browser-based IDE where we will see this in how what is Remix IDE. But just for the theory purpose, what is Remix? Remix is just a online development environment for Solidity where we can write, deploy, test, and run our code. This is the Remix ID. So what is the development of what is the life cycle of the smart contract? You can write it, compile it, and then deploy it to the blockchain. You can interact with it as well and use it in your protocol. This is you will understand it better in practical, but this is just the theory part. Now there is two parts in this field. One is testnet and one is mainnet. Uh, what is testnet? So testnet is just a we can say a environment where you can test your protocol because as we have already told you that transaction when you do some right operation on the blockchain it costs money. Why it costs money? Because it is used to pay that validators that verify your transaction, which we discussed in the first half of this webinar, that the computer or nodes that verify your transaction get paid for that transaction. How they get paid? You pay them by uh, in the form of transaction fees. So whenever you do something on the blockchain, you have to pay it. So it is very difficult for the developer. Like how if you are developing a platform and if you are testing it, every time you have to pay real money. So no, we use testnet for that. It is similar to the mainnet, like it used to simulate the mainnet thing onto the testnet where you can use the simple tokens. You can get that faucets very easily, and that faucet is let's suppose that serve here as a real money, and you can test your whole protocol on the testnet. So in this webinar, we will deploy our smart contract on that testnet and later interact with it as well. So this is the difference between testnet and mainnet. And mainnet is the main blockchain where our real protocol gets deployed and you test your protocol there. So this is the difference between testnet and mainnet. Okay. So now this is the theory part we can leave. Now we can start with our coding part by opening the Remix IDE. Let me share my screen and so this is the Remix ID. Okay, you can access it with directly Remix IDE. To the first link here, Remix. This is the main IDE which we are using here. This is the Remix browser-based IDE where we can write our smart contract. Okay, so if anyone here is aware about the programming, it will be easy for them to understand. But if let's suppose you are first time doing this coding part, this will be a little bit difficult for you to understand like what is the terms here. But I will explain it as simple as possible. So this is the Remix ID that it open, and we will see how this transaction happens, how to deploy contract. As you have seen the life cycle, write, compile, deploy, and later interact. We will do everything in this Remix ID. Take your time to open. So, if anyone here have done any programming in any languages like Java, C++, Python, if you have done, then you are already aware about what are the variables, constant, what is functions. But file, let's suppose hello world.sol. Okay, hello world.sol. So, what is this dot sol? If you have done, as I've already asked, that if anyone has done the programming in Java, C++, so there is an extension we can say by which we save our file. Like for Java, it is .java. For C, it is .c. For Python, it is .py. So like this in Solidity, this is .sol. Like anything, if you will like hello world is the name of your file, hello world.sol. Now your Remix ID will identify that this is your Solidity program. Okay. Now let's start by writing. So this is one of the very main steps. If you are seeing your, we are writing. Let's suppose you are writing your first contract here. So in Ethereum, there is one line which is you have to write in every code. That is SPDX license identifier. What is this? I will explain. So what is the significance of this line? SPDX license identifier MIT. As there is a concept of code reusability, and every as we have already told that this code is completely transparent and easily accessible by anyone. So it is very important to uh, explain, or it is very important to mention this license identification into our code. If you have I will, after deploying this, I will show you this because as it is written on the public blockchain on Ethereum, this contract is publicly available to every person on this planet, on this globe. So it is very important to do this license thing to make other understand what is the code reusability terms and policy. So it don't have any logic, code logic in this. It is just a licensing part, but you have to write this. Without this, your code will not compile. Okay, so this is the first line. Now the second line, we have to uh, mention the Solidity version which we are using. Okay, so what I will explain in each detail, like what this means, what that means. If you have any question, meanwhile you can ask, because for the person who are who are have experience in the programming, they will easily understand. But if you are beginner, or if you are seeing this screen like for the first time, it can be a little bit confusing for you that what is this, what you are writing. So you can ask your question. Okay. So first line was about the license thing. Now this Pragma Solidity 0.8.26. It is nothing. It is just the specification of the version you are using. And what this means, this small dot, this means that version you are using, we are using Solidity version 0.26 or above. This small hashtag means that, okay, this is floating pragma. If you will erase that, then also this code will run. But this means that you are using Solidity version 0.8.26. This is nothing. This is just the version of Solidity which we need to specify on our code. Okay, so this means that if you will not put that hashtag, then also it is fine. But if let's suppose you want to use the Solidity version 0.8.26 or above this, then you can push this as well. Okay, this is nothing. This is a floating pragma, not to put much attention on this. Now we have to write our first contract. Okay, so it is written like you have to mention it is the contract, then the name of contract. Okay, let's suppose hello world. Now this is our contract. Now whatever you write here, like whole part, like let's suppose this whole space. Okay, anything you write, that is the part of the contract. Anything written between these two curly brackets are the part of this contract. Like you can create functions here, you can create you can declare any variable here. Variable are of also many types which we will see here. So this is just the whole, this is anything written in this part is the contract. Okay, how you specify a contract, write the contract and the name of contract. You can give it any name, hello world or hello earth, anything, like you can give the name of this contract. So this is generally the uh, first program which you write in any programming languages. If you have studied Java, if you have studied Python, this is the first program which everyone runs. So now we will see. Now let's write this program of string. Let me write this, then I will explain each and every line of this contract. Okay. Now, what I have written string. Anyone know here what is the meaning of string? If you have done it, like it is similar to the other programming. If anyone has done any programming in any of the languages like Java, Python, C++, anyone can we use yes? Yes, yes, please, Kushal. As Kushal has
Sir,
mentioned that it is.
string generally saves in
Mhm.
the format of characters that we
Mhm.
define. We can call each character by their
Mhm.
respective values or the position that they are being saved in. Like if we want to call it, there is an index value divided by semicolons, I think so.
Yeah, yeah,
Three
correct.
parts like dot dot -1 for the reversal and all.
Yes, correct. As Avish has mentioned that his characters, like if I will enter here some numbers, let's suppose this will not be correct. Like one, two, like if anything written like this one, two, three, it will throw an error. Like what is this error? Type error. As Kushal also mentioned that it's a data type. Okay, so I'm declaring here string and entering here a number. String is a character, but I'm entering here number. You can see this error that int const 133 is not a implicitly converted to expected type string. So this is not a string, and there is a thing like if you are writing any string in any language, you have to write it in a inverted commas. Like if not, if I will write 1, 2, 3, is there any doubt? Like why now? Why it is not throwing error now? Like I'm writing 1, 2, 3, but it is the number, but it's still it is not throwing error, and it is compiling also. So if it can anyone tell why it is not throwing error at this point? Like this is a number, but still it is not throwing error. But earlier it was throwing an error, like it was not the data type was not same. But now it is not throwing error. I'm writing 1, 2, 3. It is not throwing any error. Yeah, because as Madhav has mentioned, it is in double quotes. No, Rohit, it is not a type conversion. Type conversion is a different thing. Yeah, it is. You can say it is a type conversion. Like you, when you are, as Madhav has mentioned, it is in the double. It is in a double string. You explicitly define it as a string and use the correct format. Yes, as Om, Ronit, and Madhav has mentioned, you have mentioned it in the double quotes. So anything written between this double quotes is treated as a string. This double anything you enter in this double quotes is treated as a string. And what is string? String is a we can say it is a character as we have discussed earlier. So anything you enter, let's suppose now we enter our hello world. Okay, so this is your first contract, hello world, where each you have understood meaning of each line. This is just for the licensing part. Here you have to define the version of Solidity which you want to use. You can not you can use any version. Like it is not a any hard and fast rule that you have just used to you have to use 26. You can use 20 as well. You can use any version according to based on your need. Okay, as you can see, it is updating the compiler version uh, and what is this hashtag means about this is that this means that you have to use the Solidity version 0.8.26 or above this. Now this is the content. Now understand this whole interface of Remix. We have written the code. We have created our first content with .sol extension. This is our very simple, very basic small contract, but we will not deploy it. Okay. Now let's come. This is the deploy. This is the whole the taskbar section. This is the file section. Here you can search. It is for the compilation part. Like you can compile. It is automatically. It is set to auto compile. Whenever I write the code, it gets auto compile. But you can compile it from here as well. Now let's deploy this. Okay. This is the interface as it is a as I've already told. This is a development environment. It is providing you all the things necessary to deploy and test your smart contract. Now this is as you can see. This is hello world. Our contract is compiled. Let's deploy this. This contract is not deployed. Now as in the life cycle we have seen, we can write it, compile it, and interact with it. So we have done with the two steps. Okay, write, compile, and then we have deployed it. Now we will interact with it. Now how to interact with it? This is our deployed smart contract hello world. Now to interact with it, we can see the functions present in our smart contract. This is our deployed contract. We have to select a function to interact with. As there is a greet, this is the greet function. Okay, this is not a function. This is just a greet which we have a variable which we have declared in our contract. Now what we can do, we can call this and we will get hello world in return. As you see, we have got this hello world in return. Okay, let's suppose we write anything here, like we change this string something else, like let's suppose hello DGJ. Okay, and we call this we have again compile it and deploy it, and then we can again test it. Okay, like we are let's deploy this. Let delete. You can delete also the deployed contract from here. Clear all. We'll come here. It is already compiled as it is the auto compile.
And running of this function, calling of this function is not free in blockchain, right? Yes.
I will explain that later. I will explain why we are not why we have not asked to sign a transaction. That I will explain when we will deploy it to the testnet. Okay, so now we have deployed it again. Greet, hello world, hello DGC. Okay, so as Varun has also mentioned that, and I have also mentioned in the previous webinar that to deploy that to deploy a contract into the blockchain, you need some money, but here you have not paid any money. It is just get easily deployed. You are easily interacting with it. You are not paying for any transaction. This can be a question to your mind. So this is the Remix virtual environment. As you have seen, I have selected Remix VM. This is Remix virtual environment that gives you a dummy account which has this much. As you've seen, 99 Ether, 100. This gives you lots of dummy account. Okay, so it is getting paid. As I am doing the transaction, you can see the Ether here is 99.99, and in other it is 100, it is 100. As I am interacting with all this contract, it is costing me money, but it is just a virtual environment, and all the I am available with the dummy accounts where I can get interact with it or deploy it. So this now we can now to deploy this on the test net, or let's suppose this is a very simple contract. We can't deploy, we can deploy it on net, but there is no any sense to deploy this on mainnet, as this is just a simple contract. But if we will change this to, let's suppose, MetaMask, okay, and let's suppose this is the MetaMask, and we change this to browser extension, and we select it to MetaMask, okay. Then and you can see there is 0.057 ETH. This is a we can say this is the dummy tokens, or we can the dummy amount of money which I have in my MetaMask, which I will now use to pay the transaction. Now when I will click on the deploy part, as you can see, the MetaMask is popping up. Okay, earlier we have deployed it in the virtual environment provided by the Remix to make the development process very easy. As you can understand, if we will do a simple transaction every time this MetaMask open, every time we verify this transaction, this is a tedious process. So to make it easy, Remix provide you with some dummy accounts, a dummy virtual environment where you get lots of dummy tokens, so you can test your protocol, deploy it, write it, read it, anything. Okay. So if I will confirm this transaction, you can look here also, it is pending, or you can look in the MetaMask also, it is deployed. Activities. This contract, June 14th. Right now, I just deployed a contract on a Sequoia testnet. Now, once the contract is deployed on some network, you can easily see it. Okay, I'm pasting this in the chat as well of the Zoom. This contract address, you can very easily go and verify it on the blockchain testnet explorer. As this is deployed on the testnet, you can go easily and see it on the any blockchain explorer. Suppose we go to here, Ethereum testnet explorer. So this is, as we have in the previous section, we have seen the Bitcoin Explorer. That was only the Bitcoin Explorer. But this is a testnet explorer where you can see your transaction which we have just made. Okay. Simply paste the address of your contract here. It will take some time to load the data. As you have seen, this contract created 1 minute ago. As we have created this 1 minute ago, you can see this transaction is created. You can similarly deploy your contract. As this was a very simple contract, it was just a hello world contract. So you can see 1 minute ago, you can see if anything happens in this contract, as there is no any function to do much things in this contract, so we cannot change smart contract. You can see that what is happening by creating the function. So this was the main overall thing where we have written a very simple, very basic smart contract, deployed it on the Remix environment as well as deployed it on the testnet. Now, if you will try to deploy it from your MetaMask, it will fail and it will say that you don't have enough transaction fees. For that, you have to go to any website, not any website, like there are some websites that offer you free tokens, okay, like Google Faucet. Like you can go to this website and paste your MetaMask address here, and you can simply get that tokens, which you can see I have here 0.057. So you can also get there and try to deploy your smart contract as well. Okay. So this was the very basic smart contract. Okay. Now, as there are some of the audience here also have some hands-on in the programming, we can now jump to the next part, next topic. Now we can see the next contract, and we will deploy that as well. Now, anyone know about what are the variables? Like what are variables in coding? And because our next contract which we are writing is from on the topic variable. So let's suppose name it variable. Now, what is the extension which I need to use? Dot sol. So this is our this is going to be our next smart contract variables. So what are the variables? Anyone, if you anyone want to say that what are the variables? Till then, I'm writing this licensing part as we have to write this and every part. License identifier MIT.
So basically, with the help of the last contract explanation, it will give you idea like how contracts can be written, what are the like integrated development environment available. Like Remix is very basic for the practice, like for the if you are learning the Solidity programming language, then Remix is the very easy integrated development environment you can use and to understand and write the code into the Solidity language. There are other platforms available like Hardhat and Foundry, which are more professional development environment where you can write the blockchain development code. But in order to start with or in order to get the hands-on and the practice, Remix is the best easy development environment available where Utkarsh had shown you that how the contracts can be written and how it can be deployed, and we had shown you that the amount of the money is required, some amount of transaction amount is required to call the functions. It's not like free. It's not like you can call any function without using any providing any transaction money. And currently it is a test environment where already a dummy environment is available with the dummy amount of money, amount of tokens. So that's why you are able to call the function. And the objective here to give you the brief how the smart contract can be written and what are the environments available, and you can practice upon.
As Priyanshu, you are mentioning that when I am trying to deploy my contract from MetaMask, it is showing review alert and it is being disabled. So there can be two things, Priyanshu. First, your Sepolia testnet network is not configured. You can configure that very easily just by mentioning the chain ID. You can import the Sepolia ID. The second thing, which is the most important case, which I just mentioned, that you must not be having Google faucets or you must not be having Web3 faucets with you. So there is a website. You can simply search for Google faucets, paste you paste your MetaMask address. Let me show you by doing that here. That this is my MetaMask, okay, and this is my address. I simply copied here, go through the Web3 process. They are little bit slow at some time. Sometimes it gets failed also, but most probably you will get it. Okay, I selected Ethereum Sepolia. I pasted my address. Get 0.05 ETH. It takes some time, and if your MetaMask is eligible or like is not flagged as scam or something like, it takes some time and your test you like currently you can see I have 0.0572 Sepolia. Now this transaction is completed. It takes some times and this get updated here. Okay, so this is how. See, it was earlier 0.5 some 0.057 something and now it is 0.107. So you have seen I now have more Sepolia ETH with me. So in similar way, you copy your MetaMask address, Sepolia address, paste it here in the Web3 faucet, take that tokens with you and perform the transaction, deploy or do anything which you want. And Om and Tripti has answered that what are the variables. So yes, it is correct that it is the name used to store a value of different data types. So this is about what are variables. Now we will understand in Solidity, there are basically three types of variable. Okay, first is state variable. This is very important. Okay, like if you are in the interview, this is if they are asking about the coding from the beginner point of view, this is the most important question, that how many types of variable are there in Solidity. So local variables. First, we will understand the definition, then we will see in the contract also that what this means. Okay, and there are global variables. These are the three types of variable in the Solidity. So what are state variables? They are stored directly on the blockchain. Okay, so they are stored directly on the blockchain. They are not just in the contract or point of view. They are stored on the blockchain part. These variables, the value in this variable are stored directly on the blockchain. Then there is a local variable. They are not saved to the blockchain. Okay, they are not saved to blockchain and declared in a function. ये function में they are declared in the function and they are not stored in the blockchain. And the third is global variable. They are the global variable. Okay, they are some of the these variables are some global variables which are we will see in the example that what are which have some they return some unique values like who has sent this transaction, what is the timestamp currently going on in the blockchain in the world. Like they are some special variables which return some very unique values, we can say. So let's understand by the example what is we have seen the definition state, local, and global. What that actually means. So let's first store that variable again string public. Let's name this variable anything. You can name, let's suppose, text. Okay. So I have declared one variable which is of string data type, string which means character. I have declared a variable on what I mean by public. Public means it can be accessed by anyone. Okay, these are some of the visibility present in the blockchain. I can also make it as private. Okay, once it is, but it is once we can also change it to private, but but this cannot be accessed by anyone outside of this contract. Okay, this is known as visibility. We will not go much deeper into that because that will be a whole solidity topic. But let's suppose what is this public, which means that this can be accessed by anyone. This is the public string, which means this variable, which whose name is text, is of string data type, and this is the actual value. Okay, it is a public block. So we have declared what this significance of this line is. We have declared a variable with a visibility public, name as text, and it is of string data type. Okay, so this is the first variable. Now do in 256. You public, let labels as num and one. Okay, now this is what is this u int 56? U int 256. So u int 256 is a unsigned integer. What do I mean by unsigned integer? Which means which don't have any sign. Like I cannot declare a negative value here. It is unsigned. There is not any negative sign or anything present here. So it cannot take any value which have negative. Let's suppose if I will do minus here, it will throw an error. See, what is the error? Type int count -3 is not implicitly converted to expected type. Why data that similar data type here? Now, if I will change this u and change this to int, the error will be removed because now it is of int data type. Data type, everyone have understood by clear. Everyone is answering in the chat as well. Like what is the data type? Data type is the type of the data stored in that variable. It is of string data type. I have stored the string. It is an integer. I have stored an integer. But if I have stored unsigned integer, it is throwing an error because it is an unsigned integer. And by 256 is the size of this data which we can store. It is of 265. Okay, so this amount of unsigned integer you can store, and this public is similar to here. Like this is the visibility of this variable. Okay, so now as you have seen, I have declared this variable in this contracts. In this contract, you have seen this where these variables are declared inside a contract. So these are the state variables. And state variables, as we have already discussed, these are the variables stored on the blockchain. These variables which I have declared here, they will be stored on the blockchain. But now, take the example of local variable. Let's create one function. Function, everyone must be aware, as people are aware about the data type. You know what are function. They are used to perform some operations in a code. Okay, let's suppose the name of this function is do something, and public view. I will explain what this view means, what this for public you have understood, but what this view means, we will understand. Now, let's suppose this return to int this is I equal to B. Okay. Now, As you have seen, I have to close this as well. Public is public view returns. Now I will explain what is this each lines mean. Okay. So this function do something. This means what this actually means. This function is view. What this view means. If anyone aware about the Solidity, they must be knowing view is just a function which is used to return just a write, which make it a write, just a return function. Like you cannot write with this help of that. There are two operations as we have already told on the blockchain. Write. Okay, let's jump to that part again. That we have to understand the difference between the write function and the read function. There are two types of function in the blockchain: read function and write function. A read function does nothing; it just reads the data from the blockchain. Here we don't have to perform any transaction. Reading a transaction from the blockchain costs no money. Like you don't have to perform the transaction as it is mentioned here also. Does not change the data in the blockchain, usually free. It just read the information. And what write functions do? They change the blockchain data. You have to perform the transaction. You have to pay the transaction fees. These are the two different types of function, read function and write function. So what this view means, by view, it means that this function is a read function. Okay, you can only view the function from here. You cannot change any state in the blockchain. This is just a this view do this only. Okay, function state. And this is just a warning. This is giving that you can restrict it to pure because it is just a normal warning. It will compile. It is not an error something. Okay, so this is something function which returns this. So and what is this? As you can say that this variable is declared inside a function. So this is a local variable. Okay, so this function is not stored on the blockchain. As we have seen the example, state variable, local variable, and global variable. So state variables are declared inside contracts, and local variables are declared. I can see the function. This is function. Anything written between these ports is the body of this function, and this variable is declared inside this do something function. This is local variable, and this is not stored on the blockchain. This is just accessible inside this function only. Now, some of the global variables, which I have explained, some of the special variables, they are of few only times, like they are just few types which return some, like suppose you want to return the timestamp. Okay, block dot time stamp. What this it just returns the current time. Okay, it is just return the current time which is right now in the which blockchain just reads. Okay, and this is the address sender msg.sender. So what this msg.sender means? This variable just tells you who is the sender of this message. Now we will you will get it better understand when we will compile and run it. Let's deploy our this contract on the remix. Okay, again I have got 100 ether. Let's deploy this. This contract is deployed, as you can see. Now let's call the do something function. As you can see, it is just a call function. As we have nothing to do with the return point, it is not costing any transaction. Okay, like the main difference, if someone asks you what is the difference between read function and write function, you can simply tell them that read function don't cost any transaction fees onto the blockchain, and write functions we use to change the data of the blockchain. We have to pay the transaction fees. It is not written in something in the next example where we will create a we have created two smart contracts, like one hello world, second this variable. Now from the next which will be the last smart contract of this session. But by that contract you will understand, you will be very that is also very basic, but you will understand what that reading and writing thing mean in the blockchain. Like we have to pay the fees for reading, we have to pay the fees for writing, but we don't have to pay anything to read the data from the blockchain. So our next smart contract, I will explain how that read and write thing works. Okay, so let's create another contract. This is the last contract of this uh, session. This is storage dot, let's suppose storage dot show. So what this contract will do, we will simply create a contract where we will store a value. We will set some value to this and read that data from the blockchain. Okay, so let's suppose we create SPDX, and like every contract you have to enter this line. Okay, this license identifier. Like anyone coding in the C++, they have seen that hashtag include SQDValue, that you have to enter that. So it is just like that. Okay, identifier MIT. Now, next line, Tagma Solidity. You have to tell about the version which you are using, 0.8.6. Now, let's create a contract. By here, it is these all lines are very clear to you, so I'm not explaining this again. Okay, let's name this simple storage. Okay, now what we will do? Now we will declare a state. Okay, now I will ask one question to you, like you int 256 public. Now, okay. So tell me, this is a state variable. This u int public is it is a state variable, local variable, or a global variable? Like which I have just declared inside this simple storage. It is a local variable, state variable, or global variable. Like anyone can explain like this function which I've just variable which I've just declared. This u int 256 public. Is it a state variable, global, or local variable? Hmm. Can you, it is a state variable, state variable. Can you tell me why this is a state variable? Like why? Why it is not a local variable? Yeah, Achal and Sai, both are correct. But can you tell why this is a state variable? Why it is not local variable?
Local variable are outside of the functions.
Correct. Correct. So Deep has answered that they are not the state variables are not declared in the function. They are declared outside the function in a contract. So correct. Very good that you have understood the previous point that what are the state variables. So this is the state variable. So let's come again back to our program. Now we will what we have to do. We have to create a function that as you have said that I have not declared any value here. Okay, I have not created any 1, 2, 3. I have not entered any value. It is just declared here. Now I will create a function that will set value to this num. Okay. Now we will access that. That's what we are setting the value. Name this function set. Now we have to enter what this function take as a parameter. So as it is a num, so we have to enter 256 num. Okay. So what this line is doing, we have created a function named as set, which is taking a num as a parameter, which is of un 256 type. Okay. And now we will declare the visibility as this is accessible to everyone. We will create this as a public. Now num equal to num. Okay. So what this function is doing, what this whole contract is doing, we have created a contract named as simple storage. We have declared a state variable num here, which is of un 256 type. And we have created a function, set function, which will set a value in this state variable. Okay. Now this function we will able to set. Now there was one thing there is missing. Now we have to create a function to get that function as well. Now what we will do, we will create a function get. Okay, it will not take anything as a input because it will return us. So public view terms uint 256. It will return uint 256 type and return num. If you anyone is beginner till here, so they must be having some of the problems like what is happening or what if you are not much aware about the function. But if anyone have done coding in any of the languages like Java, Python, or any languages, it must be very clear to you like what I am doing here. But for the people who don't have much exposure to the coding, they only join for the blockchain part. Let me break down everything once again very clearly. These two lines are just the Solidity specific, the versions and all. We have declared a contract named as simple storage. We have declared a state variable here, which is of UN 256 type and its visibility is public. Anyone can access this. And we have created a set function, which will take UN 256 as a parameter and set value to this num. It will set this this num. It will assign some value to this num. And now we have created another function, get function, which can be used to get this value which we have just created. It will not take anything in the parameter. It will just public view returns us this num. This is so now can anyone tell me which one is the write function and which one is the read function? Like here, the two functions present here, set and get. Which one is the write function and which one is the read function? Yes, sir, it's clear.
Set is the write function and read is the read function.
Correct. It is read is first one. No, Achal, read is not the first one. Read is the second. Set is the right array as mentioned. Set is the write function and get is the read function. So next question, one more question. Like for which function I have to pay transaction money and for which function I don't have to pay anything. So this as I am changing the state in the set variable, I am performing a transaction here. I have to pay money for this write function and to read something from the data. I don't have to pay anything. Okay, so let mention is here also. This is a write function and this is the read function. Okay, for here I have to pay the transaction fee. So let's deploy this on the Sepolia testnet to understand it more clearly. Okay, from here you can change it to browser extension. I have multiple wallet installed here, so I'm getting lots of in here. Everyone is know how to understand how to install the MetaMask. Let's suppose if anyone is beginner here and they don't have MetaMask installed onto in their computer, you can easily install it just as you install the normal extension. I will show you later how to do this. Okay, so this is I've selected it MetaMask as a browser extension, and you can see I've this much of this Ethereum which I just taken from the Google faucet. Now let's click on the deploy. You can see the MetaMask pop-ups. I can see my transactions, how much amount I have to pay to deploy this. This is some of the hex data. Now let's click on deploy. You can see in the activities that this transaction, this contract is getting deployed, is pending. Confirmed. So this contract is now deployed on the blockchain or on the testnet. Okay, now let's interact with our function which we have just created. Let's assign some value to this now. Let's assign, let's suppose 50. Let's suppose 50. Now when I will click on transact, I have to pay the fee. MetaMask is again popping up. Here I am interacting with this contract. Function is set. This much amount of fees I have to pay. This is some of the other data and X value and all. Now I will click on transact. Let's wait for our transaction to get completed. This is pending. This transaction is completed on the blockchain. Now our num value has been assigned value 50. And as I have said, as you have seen, I have paid the transaction when the MetaMask pops up. But now I am interacting with my get function. Now, will I have to sign the transaction and pay for the transaction again? No, because it is a read function and we are just reading the transaction from the blockchain. As you can see, I've clicked the click call and it is changed here 50. I'm getting 50. As I am just reading from the blockchain, I don't have to pay any transaction fees. It is just 50. As you can see, it is returned. Now again, let's suppose I again want to interact and again want to set some this. I again have to change this value to 5 to let's suppose 500. Again, I'm changing. Again, I'm writing to the blockchain. Again, I have to pay the transaction fees. Again, my MetaMask pop-up. Again, I have to click on the transaction. Wait for my transaction to complete. It is confirmed. Now, again, I want to interact with my get function and it will return 500. So it is pretty much clear to you what is the difference between read and write function. Whenever now how to identify it, you can also in a simple way just see, is your function changing anything to the blockchain? My set function is changing. It is writing to the blockchain. It is writing this num. It is assigning some value to num 50. Again, it is rewriting to 500, 600. Anything you changes. So it is a write function and it costs transaction fees. But read function, it don't cost any fees as we are just reading the data from the blockchain. So as this content, and you can also see all the transactions which we have done in this blockchain. Copy this address of this smart contract. Every smart contract which is deployed on the testnet or mainnet have their unique addresses with them, where you can see or interact from them as well. Like let's suppose I search my this smart contract which I just deployed and interacted with. It is loading. As you can see, all the transaction which I have done with my this blockchain, I can see in this on this Ethereum Explorer. As you have seen, this is contract I have set. Then I have again set. You can see all the 2 minute ago, and the latest transaction is 1 minute ago. So any doubt or anything difficult you have to understand, this remix environment can be little bit new to you, but as most of the present in this webinar are already aware about the programming part, so this everything is clear to you. The only thing which you can find a little bit challenging in the starting is this remix environment, like from where to deploy, where to compile the things, like, and what are the extension used. Like, this is just a beginner thing which is different from the traditional programming languages. So you just have to get a little bit familiar with this remix thing, like what is this remix. As Varun has already mentioned, that this is very basic. This is MetaMask just provide you with all the things. You just have to click one deploy button and everything gets deployed. You can easily select the set function and get interacted. But once you create your own, as we are just creating simple smart contracts here, but once you develop some advanced smart contracts which has lots of function, as we have already discussed, that you can also handle the payments, you can receive ethers, you can send ethers, everything. So for that you can use remix for the basic testing as well. But once you go advanced to it, there are other frameworks like Omri, Hardhat, that you can use it from the development point of view. Okay, so this was about the storage variable. So I hope everyone has cleared till here. Or if you want to see any more smart content, we can try one more if there is time left. Like reading and writing, we have already seen. The main was this only. If you want to create any, let's suppose any increment or decrement type of app, that simple application, we can do that as well. So if anything, everyone is clear here, like you have any doubts, anything in this smart contract, like how it is getting deployed or anything, you can ask.
Yes, I believe that this is like giving the idea like how to start with the blockchain development, how to like start and write your own first smart contract. And the thing is that the programming languages, if you are already aware of any of the programming languages, C, C++, Java, Python in the past, then of course you need to learn the new syntaxes as per the Solidity language, but the logical understanding and the logical concepts will remain same. You need to like learn the new syntaxes which are applicable for the Web3 development, but the how to write the code, how the string functions works, maybe it will have new set of variables, new set of functions which you need to use, but the logical concept of how a programming needs to be done will remain same, just the environment will be different, the method of deployment will be different, and here the concept of transaction fees will be a new concept, but the overall programming idea will remain same.
So if there is time, if you want to see one more contract, we can create a simple counter app on this, and then we can show you the demo of one of the project. Like people, like as I've told, that smart contract are used to create the applications on the blockchain. So people will not come and interact with your code. You have to create a front end layer for it, and how that front end layer interact with this contract, that's a different complete section of creating a decentralized application, because this is just a smart contract, okay, and that too very basic. But once you create a very complex smart contracts, you have to create a front end over it where your users can come and interact with it. Like there are other, as you see, there are all the applications in the Web3 field like Uniswap, anything. There is a front end of that. But how that front end interact with this smart contract is a different topic as well, which we will I will show you how that happens. But to understand it and what are the exact frameworks, we can cover it later in our courses or something. So this is the overall simple content. We have deployed it. We have seen it. What is the difference between read and write function? We have seen it. And if you like want, we can take one more example. Let's take one more example. One more one more content. It will be more clear. Let's suppose
Hello,
that
sir.
yes, Deep.
I am having question that what will be the role of AI in this development part? Because in current time AI is that much capable of handling 90% of the coding section.
Mhm. so deep, as you have told, AI is handling most of the part in the development part. So here, what AI can very easily help you in writing a smart contract. First of all, if you will tell AI, write a lottery smart contract for me, create this protocol for me, AI can create it for you. But in blockchain, what I feel is different from the Web2. Like if you have used some of the ID like Cursor, Anti-Gravity, they are just building whole app whitecode. Like you can whitecode whole app there. But what I find very different in Web3 is that AI also cannot directly interact with your blockchain. Okay, like the thing you are doing here, like interacting with the blockchain, AI cannot do it directly. You have to sign your transaction. You have to analyze it, and you have to check your code for some if there is not any security vulnerability. You can that there also you can take the assistance of AI that you can copy this code, give it to AI, and say that find is there any security vulnerability in my code. AI will try to do that, but to test it rigorously, there are some there are something which you need to like all the audit process and everything which you need cannot be done with the help of AI. AI can very easily help you with the development part. Like you can simply prompt AI that create a create a game, like create a lottery. Okay, lottery smart contract for me. Okay, AI will create a lottery contract for you. It will give you a very secure and like very good code. But how will you deploy it? AI cannot deploy it for you. So you have to
So
consolidate. You have
I have not currently explored that portion, but using MCP or skill.md files, AI is capable of doing many things. If
from
this
the
MCP,
uh,
yeah,
see, I'm from the MCP, but blockchain is like
And
different from that.
we
As you have studied,
might be technology wise AI might be helping you, or you mean to say AI can help and handle a lot of part from the development side, but believe me, the more important part is what to develop, how to develop, and what product or services needs to be developed, what business understanding needs to be implemented via code. So it's not like that, and as Utkarsh is explaining, that AI can help to give you the first draft of the code as per your requirements, but the AI written
this
code
question.
cannot be deployed on production directly. Like someone needs to have the in-depth understanding, and in the space of blockchain and Web3, where financial transactions and financial products are involved. And you might came to know that there are lots of attack had been happened on the blockchain financial applications in the past due to the security and auditability of the code, where we cannot rely wholesale on the AI given results. And but the for my point of view, like it is more important, like to understand the blockchain arena, to decide like what product and what services need to be developed, how to approach, what architecture should be for the respective product and services, what technology stack you will use, and then someone can take the help of the AI to draft the first set of the development, and then need to adjust the given development as per the real requirement scenario, and then need to do the thorough auditing and testing of the code before deploying it on the production. If AI is helping out, it doesn't mean that we need to no blockchain developer is required, and all blockchain development will be done and handled by AI only. This is not going to happen.
yeah,
This
so
question is
strongly
around.
agree. I strongly agree with you because AI is not capable of taking the decisions by its own, which is means that architecture, which protocol, that should be manually given, but the coding part only.
Yes, we are
Uh,
not completely denying it. We are saying that, of course, you can help and leverage the AI to get the first draft as per the requirements decided, and then you can like redefine and modify the draft as per the actual product and service development.
his question was around the MCP part. Varun. So, as you mentioned that we can use the MCP to interact with it and everything, like it get easily integrated with the other tools as well. But there is a term in the blockchain, brother, which is known as Oracle problem. Okay, so the blockchain is a different, you can say, a different world running in this planet. Like blockchain cannot interact with the real world entity. Like what is like today is Sunday, 14th of June, and it is currently 1:50 in the afternoon. These things are not known to the blockchain. Okay, so this is a problem in the blockchain, that it is not aware about what is the real world, what is happening into the real world. And to interact with it, you need to directly tell the blockchain. So that is solved with the help of the oracles. So as you have told that MCP, the use of model context protocol, that MCP, it can be used to integrate very easily with the other tools and softwares. But in the blockchain, the deployment part, and we can say the deployment or interactive part, you need that wallet layer in that. Okay, so this is a little bit where AI cannot much assist. Like AI can help you in development, it can tell you steps, but this is the sector, if we compare it to the Web2, this is still very immune from the AI part. Okay, you have to do many things manually. For that, for which you need lots of knowledge about the Foundry framework and other thing. AI cannot deploy the contract for you. It can tell you the steps how to deploy it, and even MCP cannot deploy the contract or can integrate with the MetaMask queue and cannot sign the transaction on the behalf of you. And let's suppose that MCP gets too advanced, it can also let's suppose sign the transaction on the behalf of you, like which is popping up and I'm signing it. It is not recommended that AI allow you to sign the transaction for you. Are you understanding? Like if you will allow AI to, yes, you can sign the transaction on the behalf of me, and where the real funds are on the stake, it will not be recommended from the audit point of view that you give MCP this much of access to, yes, you can go and interact with my contract and sign transaction on behalf of me. So this is the place where human intervention, or we can say the layer, is the most important. If you specifically talk about the Web3, yes, definitely AI you can use in the development point of view, testing point of view, steps and everything. That point of view you can understand the AI. But where it comes to signing the transaction, then you have to apply the manual layer. And
because I believe that not contract is needed. You can, if you want to show, you can show the utility around that, but no new contract.
Yes.
Because we had given enough idea that how to make a contract written into the Solidity and all, because that will be a different things to like understand and writing and learning the whole smart contracts into the Solidity language. So you can show, if you want to show the NFT project, if you want to show just quickly with respect to the time, because we are like shorting the time, we need to close the session as well. So I believe that if you want to show,
yes. So as I've already told you that there are decentralized application built on the blockchain. Okay, so how you build your just giving you a high level overview. This is your smart contract. Okay, this you cannot directly interact, or like in Web2 part we integrate backend with the front end. You cannot do it like that. Okay, you need a thing known as ABI. What is this ABI? Anyone know about what is ABI in the blockchain? Like what is ABI? Like whenever we compile our code, you get a unique ABI. Like here also I will show. Let's suppose we have let's suppose our hello world. Take the simple example of this contract only. You can see in the it is compiling. Let it compile, and then I will show you what is ABI. Okay, you can see this ABI. This is the ABI. This is the application binary interface. So whenever you build your own application on the blockchain, you write a smart contract. You use this ABI. This is the ABI, as you can see this in the JSON format. What is the input? It is taking just you get a ABI. You use this ABI to connect your smart contract with the front end, and I will show you the demo one of the smart contract which we have developed. So you can get a little bit idea. Like this smart contract is not a whole picture in this. There is a smart contract. Okay, now we use ABI to interact with it, and then a front end layer. Okay. So we use this front end layer. Our user use this front end through this ABI. That ABI helps to talk. You can say this is the medium layer from which we can talk to our smart contract. So you can use this. This is a very high level, very simply explained. There is whole picture going behind that. What is API? How to connect this API? Different frameworks like WAGMI, EtherJS, Web3.js. That's a whole different topic. But this is the overall high level overview. If someone asks you how your smart contract can be connected with the front end layer, you can easily tell them through the APIs. Okay. So there is one small application which I like to show the demo of this, which we have just developed for the unique certification. Like what does smart contracts do? It allows some of the addresses to issue certificates to on the blockchain. So from this ID, you can see I am here as a student. As you can see, there are lots of certificate issued to me, and how where these images are getting stored. That's a different IPFS thing which we will cover later. So these are all the certificate which are stored on the blockchain. Now what I will do, I will issue one certificate to myself again. Okay, what I will do, I will copy my copy address from here. Okay, and let's suppose 14th June certificate. Now I will choose one file from here and show you how this transaction and perform this. This is the, as you see, I'm interacting with the front end layer. Okay. As you can see, this is the front end layer with which I'm getting interacted with, and I can upload. Let's suppose I'm uploading this image. Okay, this is the ChatGPT image. I'm importing it, and it is getting selected. It is selected. Now what I will do, I will sign in. Now this is processing the metadata. What metadata? This title, this date of issuance, and the hash of this image. Now what is the hash of this image and where is this image is actually getting stored? That is what I guess that we will learn about the development from the code. Okay, so we will jump to that later. Now let that metadata process. Once that metadata will be processed, you will receive a transaction request. Okay. So let that take time. As this is an image and storing images on the blockchain is a tedious process. Okay. Now you have seen this metadata has been processed. Now what I will do, I will sign this transaction. Sign and mint certificate. Now you can see the this MetaMask opens. How this is everything is happening. That again, as I explained to you about the higher picture that ABI is interacting with the ABI, that everything is happening. Now I will confirm this transaction. Okay, now I will wait for this transaction to be completed. As you can see, it is pending. It is confirmed. This transaction is confirmed. Now I'm coming back again to my student profile, and that certificate is not here. When I will again read the data from the blockchain. You can see this 14 June certificate is here. It is, I click that 2 times, it is minted 2 times here. You can see this. This is the certificate which is minted. Again, you can see the clear example of read and write blockchain as we have discussed in great detail. Again, I am reading here from the blockchain. I am viewing all the certificates. Again, to don't pop up any transaction. But again, when I was signing the transaction here, it was asking me to pay that transaction. So again, you have seen one more example of read and write function. So what this whole contract actually does, there is a smart contract written behind that whole protocol, which is allowing only the authorized person to issue certificate on the blockchain. And when I am signing transactions from here, it is getting viewed as here, like he is the person who the certificate is issued. So this is just a simple utility feature which you can see how a front-end layer is built over this and how it is interacting with it, ABI, the application binary interface, which we get after compiling our smart contract. So you can, this is a simple project. You can build a very complex project, voting system, lottery system, decentralized autonomous organization, your own DeFi protocol, many more, everything by writing a smart contract, deploying it, and generating the ABI. Now using that ABI, connecting it to the front end and creating your very unique applications. You can create your like front end. You can, it's up to you. You can create as much creative. Like, no, that's the React part and front end part. But this is the overall picture of a decentralized application. How you create such decentralized applications, how you used to interact with them, everything. So if anyone has any doubt, like till here, at any point, like from the starting, anyone can ask.
Okay, so we have done with the webinar, and we are sharing feedback from here, and we are requesting every one of you to share your feedback. And if you have any questions, you can ask quickly with Utkarsh. Thank you, Utkarsh, for delivering a great session and great insightful technology based technical session over the blockchain, because we have seen that many of the people are talking about the blockchain from the theoretical aspect, but no one is taking deep down to the blockchain technology, how it can be written. No one is how the softwares and projects can be made. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask Utkarsh quickly.
See, Rohit, as you are asking how to get know that the certificate which are issuing is approved by the government. That's a different part. It was just a utility
I'm sharing my
decentralized
screen.
application. And what you can do if you want to know that only the authorized person is issuing the certificate, what you do, you can put your KYC layer in front of that only the authorized person. That the manual verification is done from the your part, like only the authorized person. Like suppose you are running a school and you only want the teachers to issue the certificate. So you can allow it in your protocol that only that wallet address of the teachers are allowed to mint the certificate. So by this way, you can put a layer of authority, or you can say that you can make ensure that no one can enter or no one can deploy any fake certificate. So this is a manual work which you need to ensure from your end.
So Utkarsh, is
How
my
to-
screen is available?
Yes, as well. How to apply protocols in the smart contract like Island and Blockchain and Uniswap. That's a different topic, not a different topic, Achal, but you have to, let's suppose you have to build your own protocol. They are all smart contracts only. Okay. So let's suppose DeFi has a function of swapping function, creating tokens. You just have to write the smart contract based on that. You will write smart contracts and write your rules. But what are protocols? They are just the rules. You have to write your rules in the name of coding, and just deploy them and make your protocols like you have mentioned there, Uniswap and all. You can do it like that. But that's a very the contract which we have just they are very basic. You have to develop if you have to develop the protocols like Uniswap and all. That require lots of coding and lots of different uh, development frameworks which are needs to be involved in that auditing and everything. Then you can deploy and create the protocol like that. But it starts from here only. You have to understand what is Solidity, that simple line SPDX license identifier, Pragma Solidity. It all starts from here only. Then there is a lots of other things that are going on. So I hope it is clear to you. So you can create your complex smart contract as
Okay,
well.
so meanwhile, I'm sharing few more information with you, and in the context of time, we need to share few more information. Utkarsh, is my screen is available?
Yes, sir.
So are you able to see this campus ambassador picture? Hello?
Yes, Varun, it is visible.
Okay. So we just want to share with you we are providing the opportunities to the students who are willing to work in blockchain domain and want to become a campus ambassador for the blockchain technology in their campuses and outside of the campuses as well. So as a company, we are working on multiple areas like providing education, training, and consulting on blockchain domain, as well as we are providing the opportunities to the students by providing the opportunities as a campus ambassador. We are planning to start internship opportunities as well, and we are working on a paid education programs as well, where if someone needs to get in-depth knowledge and in-depth hands-on how to work on live projects, how to work on live projects, and if someone is willing to get into the deep down of the blockchain development side, then we are planning to launch our paid kind of it's a paid of kind of course or paid kind of mentorship is there, where students can join us, and first 2-3 months we will make them learn about the blockchain deep down blockchain concepts, and after that they can get the internship opportunities or working on live projects with us, because as a company we are working on live blockchain projects, and we are incubated with IIM Lucknow as well, where we are working together with IIM Lucknow and developing some futuristic blockchain products like real world asset tokenization and skills and digital skills, credentials, and identity verification on blockchain. And if some students gets joined with us or our in our paid program, then what they will get our mentorship support, internship opportunities, lifetime community access, and like practical hands-on learning. It's not like we will talk about only the theory things. Practical hands-on learning will be available for the students. So, like these are the opportunities. And if I talk about the course fee for the first few students, we are keeping it very nominal. We are not a coaching center. We are not like tuition center on blockchain. So we are not just charging very high fees. We are just providing the opportunity with a minimal apparent cost, which will be 2,999 for the first few 10 students, and after that we are keeping it 4,999 for rest of the students. And like everything will be available, as well as if you guys need any community support and any kind of support, and that will be available to all of you. We will share all these details. We will share the recording and we will share the course details. And let me show you one more course details, like what we are bringing to you for all of you, so you can learn web3 with us. And we already told you that why DigiChain blockchain exists, simple explanations, real use cases, no hype, clear paths. And what we teach, we can teach like blockchain basics, Web3, wallets, smart contracts in simple language, DeFi, NFTs, real world use cases, along with the AI and Web3 integration. And if we talk about what kind of learning experiences you students and developers will get when they will associated with us, they will get the free live webinars and workshops and micro courses. We are conducting community and resource support, career guidance. And what you will learn, you will get all that details, like master of the fundamentals of the blockchain architecture, Ethereum, then developing the smart contracts, tested debugging and deploying smart contracts with Foundry, and build full stack decentralized applications. So you will get end-to-end support and guidance from us if you will join our paid program. And like so we are not just like a kind of a tuition center or coaching center. We are here as a technology company on a blockchain, which can help you and provide you the endless opportunities in blockchain technology. So we want to thank you, each one of you, for your time and making this webinar so interactive. And you had given your Sunday afternoon time, and we discussed a lot of questions and possible scenarios about the blockchain technology. So thank you everyone for joining us. And for now, like we can share all these details to you. And if any one of you are interested, then you can register for the paid program with us, and we will guide you. And you can join our community. I believe that you all are already available in our community group, where we will share all the important information and details with you. Thank you. So thank you everyone. Bye bye. Thank you.
You guys can leave the meet if you got free. Like, it's over. I'm sharing all the details in your mails. Okay. Thanks for your time.